Have you ever wondered how can you become the best version of yourself? But how do you know who you really are now? The answer is self-awareness. So how do you become more self-aware and power up your career or business growth? Hi, I'm Ania and I'm a Career and Fulfilment Coach in London. In my previous video, we discussed why self-awareness is the first key to your personal or professional development, how it relates to your success, your satisfaction, your mental health and well-being, and why it really makes sense to be self-aware if you'd like to achieve some change, to realize your potential and develop yourself further. Now in this video, I'll give you 3 practical steps on how to improve your self-awareness and use this to achieve the best results in your personal or professional life. Ready to level up? Let's try looking inward. So how do you actually increase your self-awareness? There's different ways on how you can learn more about yourself and understand yourself. One of the most scientific-based ones I would recommend is taking a psychometric test or assessment. There is a variety of psychometric assessments available to you across the market. Some of them focus more on the communication skills and how you can connect from your communication style with other people who might have a slightly different communication pattern. Some other assessments are focusing on the strengths, the things that bring you energy, as well as exploring what are the things that drain your energy at work or even the personal communication. Some examples of these could be DISC, which focuses more on communication, StrengthsFinder, which talks a lot about the strengths and drainers that you have, and also the Strengths Scope, which also gives you an opportunity to ask others about how they think and feel about you. So the psychometric test or assessment is not really checking your knowledge or understanding of any particular subject apart from yourself. And because it's only you that knows about yourself, there's no right or wrong answers. All of them will give you quite a lot of questions, from 50 to 150 questions. In these assessments, you will be asked to rate yourself on a scaling rate across the number of questions, and at the end you will get a report that really gives you a detailed breakdown and description of your personality based on how you have assessed yourself. By the way, I'll record a separate video on psychometric assessments and will connect the link to this video. Let me know if you'd like to learn more about this. If you feel that you would like to also get some feedback from others who have worked with you or who have studied with you, you can also use some of these assessments that do not only measure your feedback, but they also give an opportunity for some of your nominees to answer the same questions that you answered, so that you can compare, say, I am very outgoing, and you put a 10 to this, and then someone else will say that maybe you're a 5, and you will compare this. And then when you have the results of your own self-assessment and the results of what others have shared about you, you would be able to compare this and really understand what are your potential areas for development and what are your superpowers, the things that you were never aware of, which are actually the great strengths that you have. So keeping on the subject of the feedback, this is another really powerful tool for you to learn more about not only how you appear in this world, but how others perceive you. For example, I really love developing people. I love giving them some advice, and I love inspiring them and showing them all the opportunities for development and growth they have. But actually for some people that might be a bit too much of a pressure, a bit too much of me throwing my advice on them. So this is something that I've learned from my self-assessment, is that my superpower of being wonderfully inspiring and focusing on the self-development, it's actually something that could be overflowing. It's something that I'm overusing a bit, and I would need to be a bit more mindful and a bit more suggestive and perhaps mindful about how I approach this. So feedback is really a gift, because it's something that will help you to develop yourself, to learn more about yourself, and really understand, would I like to change this perception of others? Would I like to change myself on how I appear in this world? Or maybe I'm just learning something new about me, which is really exciting and wonderful, which could really boost your confidence as well. So I definitely encourage you to go and ask your friends and colleagues, what do they think about your superpowers, about the things that you can do better, and the things that would really be important important for your collaboration with them. Let me give you an example from my own career. One of my first jobs was at a very big international FMCG company which makes chocolates and lots of other exciting stuff. And as I was going through a end of year performance reviews and I was requesting feedback from my colleagues, I was expecting the highest reviews and best feedback because I knew I always do my job perfectly. I'm the great team member. I really support others. But the feedback that I did get from a lot of my colleagues and all of the stakeholders is that I need to be a bit more communicative, open. So let me be honest, at that time I was really focusing on how I do my work, what do I do for my goals and my projects, and I was super confident that I'm doing all the best things I can, but I was 20 years old, I didn't know how to behave in the politics of the office. I'm an introvert, and at the time I really thought that really doing my job at its best is the best thing you can do. Surprise! You also have to speak with your colleagues, be nice with them, and talk about lunch and their kids. I guess that was one of the insights that is hugely useful as well if you're moving into the UK, but that's a whole other story, is that you really need to not only promote your work, but also promote yourself. And this is when I got my feedback about not being communicative enough. I was really disappointed, but I was not disappointed in them or myself. I was disappointed in how I haven't thought about this before, how I haven't considered this an important part of my job, how this was a huge blind spot for me. And now that I have moved to the UK, where communication and how you promote yourself across your stakeholders and how you manage the relationships, I really understand how useful and how valuable that feedback was for me, even though it was really, really difficult for me to understand that at the time. So feedback and self-awareness, it takes practice, it takes time, and it's not that easy to just open yourself and be like, oh, okay, now I understand everything. Well, if it was that easy, we wouldn't be here watching these videos, would we? And with that in mind, there are some other exercises that you can do, practicing mindfulness, reflecting on your work and on your plans, and even stopping and really assessing where you are now, what are the skills that you have, what are the achievements that you have had so far, is really an important part of self-awareness and asking yourself some really useful questions. Let me give you some examples of the questions that you can ask yourself to start your self-reflection practice, which is actually a self-coaching question practice as well. So, what are the things that you believe you are exceptionally well at, and how do they show in your day-to-day personal or professional life? What drives you to pursue your goals, and are they aligned to your values? What personal beliefs might be holding you back from developing into your full potential? What is one thing you can start doing today or this week to be closer to becoming your next best version of yourself, that you of the future? And what is one thing that you have learned about yourself recently? So try checking yourself by answering some of these questions, writing this down, checking what others could answer to some of these questions, and really sitting down and reflecting. How much do you know about yourself, and how confident and positive are you in this knowledge? So here we are. These are the 3 steps that you can use to become more self-aware: the psychometric assessment, the feedback, and the mindfulness and reflection self-coaching exercises. These are your first steps to become the better version of yourself, to power up your personal or professional development and achieve the better satisfaction in your life. If you have missed the first part of this video about why self-awareness is actually important, click the link in the description of the video or check the linked videos at the end of this one. As always, I appreciate your feedback, your comments, your likes. If you've got any comments, feel free to drop them in the chat, and I would love to record another video especially for you. Thank you for watching, and good luck!